actress Kerry Washington, who stars in the ABC's drama series Scandal. And we talked about politics a minute ago, Kerry, and I should mention 1 Billion Rising is what Kerry has on her t-shirt. Why don't you explain what this movement is? Because it's very exciting.
Isn't it so exciting? It is the best, most amazing, empowering global movement to end violence against women. That's our goal, is to put ourselves out of business. And it's 1 Billion Rising because today, 1 billion women in the world, basically 1 out of every 3 women will be raped or beaten. And so we had a vision of 1 billion women coming together on February 14th to dance.
Valentine's Day, a day of love. And they're all going to be, it is so cool. They're going to dance.
We're going to dance all over the world. Everybody's signed on, even the Dalai Lama. We're in over 160 countries. You can go to 1billionrising.org and create an event or join an event that's happening and just dance for the liberation of women.
Meanwhile, you know, a lot has been made about the fact that there are not many African-American women in leading roles on network TV shows. And I guess one of the first was back in 1968 with the show Julia. You're you're too young to remember this, but when I was a little girl, like 11 years old in 1968, I loved this show because I just thought it was, I love Diane Carroll. She was a working mom with a son, single mom, and it really taught me a lot about working women and about African-American working women. And so we have a little surprise.
The power of media, right, to allow you into somebody's life that you normally wouldn't know or wouldn't have access to, and to see yourself in someone that's so different from you.
We decided to have a little surprise for you today, and that is Diane Carroll is here joining us via satellite. Are you kidding me? Oh my God! Oh my God! Waiting patiently. Hi, Diane Carroll.
Hi. Hello, you two.
Nice to see you. Well, listen.
Oh, I'm just overwhelmed by both of you, really. Kerry, I'm delighted to be with you and listening to all the things that you're bringing into your life. You are a very wonderfully gifted, talented, unselfish young woman, and I'm happy to be here to say to you, I love and adore everything you're doing.
You know, thank you so much, Diane. I would never have the life I have today or the career I have today if it weren't for brave, beautiful women like Diane who have blazed the trail for the rest of us to be able to do what we love to do.
That's so great.
Thank you, darling, please. That's wonderful. I come here to honor you and I want everyone to know that this is not an easy business that we're in. And the way that you're tackling it and the way that you're going about it is perfect. I've watched Katie when she started, and she did that. Now I'm watching you, different, not journalist, but an actress. And it's all a matter of believing that you can grab it and take the moment and run with it. And that's exactly what you're doing. It's a joy to watch you, young lady. It's a joy to be in your presence, and you know that I adore you.
Oh, that is so nice. And Diane, before we go, I mean, do you think
Can we talk about how gorgeous Diane Carroll is for a minute?
By the way.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about this woman? Look at her.
I love that. I love it.
Diane?
More.
Are you 78?
I will be 78 in July, yes.
She's 78 years young.
Awesome.
78 years young.
And still working, right, Diane? You're still working.
Yes, I'm doing this wonderful series, White Collar, on USA, and I'm having a hell of a good time.
That is so wonderful. Do you think, Kerry, just as you opened doors for a lot of African-American actresses, not enough, by the way, but you started opening those doors back in the late 60s, do you think Kerry will be able to do the same thing, Diane, in this role?
I'm under the impression that Kerry has done that already. And I think she'll continue to do it. Some part of it, you know, this is a double-edged sword for me, because starting in the 60s, as I did, I never dreamt that we'd sit here 2013 talking about the same thing. The thought that you are carrying on and bringing with you a kind of energy and a little frustration with where the business is and trying to improve it is very good for all of us to see and for all of us to be inspired by that.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Diane, It's really a thrill for me to get to visit with you today as well, because I am a lifelong fan of yours, and I just so appreciate you having a few words for Kerry and a few for me as well. So thank you so much.
I love you, I love you.
And I love you back, darling. You're wonderful.
All right. It's a love fest here on Katie. Thanks, Diane. And coming up, we're going to actually meet the real-life Olivia Pope, the woman who inspired. We're back with Kerry Washington, who plays the fast-talking Olivia Pope on the hit show Scandal. The show is based on a real-life crisis manager named Judy Smith, who has helped many famous clients weather world-class scandals, including Monica Lewinsky and Michael Vick. And she's also the author of Good Self, Bad Self. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you.
Katie. Thank you for having us.
I know Judy from my previous life at NBC. And
Not because you've been in a lot of trouble.
No. Luckily, I have not had to employ Judy yet. Hopefully never. But how did this whole thing come about with the show really based on your life and career?
Yeah, I mean, pretty crazy. I actually had written a book. And so someone said, you need to try to think about a TV show. I said, oh, no. So I set up a meeting with Shonda. And
Shonda Rhimes.
Shonda Rhimes, yes. And we just ended up talking for about 2 hours and just talking about the work and the kinds of cases that I do and how I do it. And I got to the parking lot and she called and said, we have to do a TV show.
Wow. Just like
parking
that?
lot.
Aren't
Just
you
like
lucky?
that.
And
I am very lucky
do
woman.
you talk to Judy a lot, Kerry? When you were kind of developing your character, would you talk to her?
Well, luckily, nobody told Judy that I thrive on research, that I try to get as much information, real information as I can. Judy didn't know that, so Judy said, call me anytime, here are all my numbers, and, you know, in the beginning. Now she goes, what, Kerry? I'm always calling. But yeah, Judy is a producer on the show, and she's very hands-on. She works with the writers a lot, and she's an incredible resource for all of us actors. You know, there are all these kind of moments that I can imagine what they're like, but Judy can help me fill in the blank spaces.
You worked in the press office for President Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, and you have a funny story when you called him and told him that this was going to become a television show.
Yeah, so Shonda Rhimes told me that I should tell you that you're having an affair with the president. I said,
on the show.
Right. I said, I said, is that written already? And so we chatted about it. I said, I think I probably need to call the president ahead of time just to give him a heads up. So I called up, and the chief of staff said he's going to get back to you. And I said, I want to tell him about the show. And they said, well, people have been sending them, some information he knows about it. I said, no, I think I need to tell him about the show. And so he called, and I couldn't grab the phone. And so he left a message. So I'm checking my messages, and the messages said, I love you. I want you. You broke up with me. Come back. Give me a call. And by the way, this is the former leader of the free world. Call me.
Let's talk about your client list, because you've had some whoppers.
Yes. We continue on with them.
Some pretty scandalous cases.
Yes.
For example, Monica Lewinsky.
What was interesting about that case, when you think about it, was sort of the first, major blockbuster sex scandal. And at that time, social media wasn't even going on. I feel bad for her, because he's had a chance to, go on and do so many other things. But that was a tough one, because a lot of times in crisis, you're also navigating legal trouble, as we do on the television show. So you have to be very careful about what you say. Yeah, that's a hard one.
Do you stay in touch with Monica Lewinsky?
I haven't talked to her in a while, but I plan to reach out to her.
Let me ask you about Michael Vick.
Yes.
He was convicted of animal cruelty, and that was a tough rehab.
Yes.
I think.
She's so kind when she said that.
No, how were you able to? I think he has kind of come out of it relatively well, wouldn't you say, Judy?
I think so. It takes time. I mean, the thing for me, because what he did was so awful, and he has said this publicly, was to make sure that he was really sorry for what he did. And so what he has done is really dedicate, you know, his life, and he's gone around and he's been speaking about what he did and what could happen if you do it for the Humane Society. The important thing was to get a partner, and really that was a hard one. I mean, it took us probably at least 6 or 8 months. I mean, honestly, before we could even get a partner to work with him. But I think he's done a good job at staying on that road of redemption.
Well, it's so fun to have you both here.
Thank you.
Kerry and Judy, Kerry Washington, Judy Smith, thank you so much, and continued success with Scandal.
Thank you.
We all think it's a terrific show. And by the way,
thanks everybody for watching.
catch a new episode of Scandal tonight on ABC. And by the way, we have some good news. Everyone in today's audience is going home with season 1 on DVD.